Madang Governor brings plight of Manam Islanders to Parliament. Health Minister directs POMGEN to clean up mess. And Parliament convenes for the 2015 sessions.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Tuesday's news. Thanks again for joining us. This year will mark 3 years since the draft of the Manam Restoration Act was written. Following the Manam people's evacuation from their volcanic island, they were placed at care centres on the Madang mainland to await permanent resettlement. This wait has lasted over 10 years and the governor of the province is desperate to put an end to it.
For Madang Governor Jim Cass, he hopes this parliament sitting will be a special one for the people of Manam Island. Volcanologists predict there is one more major eruption that will occur, so going back to the island is not an option. Governor Cass hopes that this will be the parliament sitting that passes the act that will start the resettlement process.
With the help of the Chief Secretary, we have the law ready.
The plight of the Manam people have gone beyond the resettlement of a group of internally displaced people. The longer they wait to be resettled, the larger and more complicated the issue becomes.
The host communities of Postam, of Mangem and of Asuramba are suffering as much as the Manams are suffering because of the tensions and because of the fights and deaths that occurred.
According to the governor, the provincial government and administration are prepared and ready to implement the resettlement program. The hold-up, he says, is in the composition of the board members.
There is one view that board members have to consist of experts, who are not politicians. There's another view that no, the composition of the board should be made up of interim board members should be made up of politicians. I will not support a second view.
For the people of Manam and the Bogia communities who are hosting them, the wait cannot be over too soon. In November last year, a delegation of Manam leaders and Bogia community leaders accompanied Governor Cass to present the draft of the Manam Restoration Authority Act to the Chief Secretary.
Lives have been affected, pressure. Mipla putim kenlong the host community, so it is not just Manam, It's including the host communities. Mipla tu putim along, man-made disaster.
For Governor Cass, the resettlement of the Manam Islanders is part of a bigger plan for the province. Apart from Manam Island, there are 2 other volcanic islands in the province. The success of this program would mean the province is prepared for other similar events in the future. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Health Minister Michael Malabang has urged POM General Hospital Chief Executive Officer Grant Muddle to clean up the health hazards behind the hospital. The deplorable sewage system and uncollected rubbish between the hospital and UPNG's medical school are yet to be rectified.
That's for Grant Muddle to handle it.
The perennial neglect of the hazards stems from the lack of responsibility between the administrations of UPNG and the hospital. It's an issue that's been ongoing for more than a year now, and Health Minister Michael Malabang says it's time for the hospital CEO to take ownership.
I would request the CEO of the Port Moresby General Hospital to ensure that the whole place is cleared up so that, our people don't want to go into getting sicknesses, these sort of things out of that. So it's important that the Port Moresby General Hospital takes charge of that issue.
Poor housing for hospital staff also exists within the proximity of the health hazards. The conditions in which they live are as bad as the neglected waste. According to UPNG's Physical Facilities Management, the main cause of the wastewater spillages is this rundown lavatory system in the community.
For the old staff housing that we're going to put up a new staff housing for the staff. There's a lot of illegal people also hanging around the hospital premises, so they've done that bit. Once it is out of the way, then we're going to have more better housing for the workers at the Port Moresby General Hospital.
Joshua Sam is the manager of the NCDC Waste Management. He says the UPNG and POMGen administrations need to stop playing the blame game.
Part of our responsibility is the cleanup of the environment, and so if one of them would just come to us and ask us for help, we can organize for a temporary cleanup, and then we sort out whose responsibility it is.
But the question of who will fix the deplorable sewage system behind the nation's capital General Hospital remains an unanswered question. Amidst Lay's expensive housing rentals, customary landowners have called on the government to create opportunities for them to develop their land into affordable rental homes. Lay's traditional landowners have prime land around the city's boundaries, which they want to develop and not sell to foreigners. Land mobilization authorities say they have failed to create opportunities for them. They're now calling for the government to simplify a process where they can easily meet bank requirements to build affordable rental homes.
There has been a shift in mindset with this generation of Lay's traditional landowners, the Ahi. It's evident in the way they plan land allocations by screening Papua New Guineans before allocating land to them to settle on. Because families are now moving toward the outskirts of Lay City, looking for cheaper accommodation, most are buying and leasing land from traditional landowners to build on. To buy and rent a home in Lay City is far too expensive for a upper middle earning Papua New Guinean. Yanam Omba belongs to a clan of Kamkumung landowners. He, like many others, want to develop their traditional land into properties, including affordable homes for other Papua New Guineans to buy and rent. He doesn't want to sell his land. He wants to develop it on his own terms. But what's holding him back is the Ahi Land Mobilizations Authority's inability to help him develop his land, and the bureaucracy combined with the painstaking wait for land titles from the Moresby Provincial Lands and Physical Planning Board in order to obtain loans from banks. Yanam Omba is now calling on the national government to empower landowners who have land as a birthright to build homes for Papua New Guineans to buy and rent.
Land registration or title background. So this is something by helping us. Time to like all lands too. Kalau selain land tu, saya tidak kan saya take him ramas players kan with him. Land title land registration udah saya wait.
Yanam speaks for the majority of Ahi clans who have land but need startup financial packages from banks and technical advice to turn their land into money-making streams to help them and provide better homes for middle-income earning Papua New Guineans. As Lay's economy grows and the ongoing problems of land shortages, landowners like Yanam are willing to use their land for development, but they aren't going to sell the land to foreigners. Yanam and other Ahi landowners now understand that their land can be used to build affordable homes for other Papua New Guineans to rent and buy. As Lay's economy grows, the real estate market is becoming very expensive. Ordinary families are forced into settlements looking for affordable homes. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lay.
It took almost 19 years and over 100,000 kina for a customary land group to acquire their incorporated land group certificate. The chairman of the Kirinokibi ILG, Michael Goya, could not wait to share the good news with his family and clansmen and women throughout the country and back home in Elimbari, Simbu Province. This ILG covers customary land with a population of over 5,000 people. Goya says the ILG will be used to assist the community with development plans that they have. A second batch of 12 police officers from the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary travelled to Australia today and will be placed in the Queensland police stations in Cairns and Townsville. This is under the ongoing partnership between the RPNGC and Australian Federal Police placement program known as Mekimsenis.
The 12 police officers will work closely with the Queensland Police for 4 weeks. They are constables and inspectors, of which 5 are women officers. They were selected from Port Moresby, Lay and Goroka police stations. The policing placement program provides learning opportunities for local officers and a better chance to observe the skills and behaviors required in supporting RPNGC's development goals. Such key areas are community policing, sexual assault cases, investigations, traffic operations and station management. Meanwhile, under this same program, more than 200 AFP officers came to PNG to mentor and supervise our police officers. Vasina Tayama, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News tonight, a story on a family of PNG writers and all the news from the first day of Parliament's resumption today. Stay tuned for the details. Good to have you back with the news. A family of 4 is on a quest to help 1 million children in Papua New Guinea to write their own books, and they hope to achieve this by the year 2025. Today, John Yareki and his wife, Amorive, and their 2 young children have successfully published 9 books in total. The family is now on a path to becoming the first family of authors in PNG, if not the Pacific.
Yes, please.
Eddie and Helen Yareki are no ordinary children. At just 10 years old, Eddie released his first book, Emperor of the Islands, while his 14-year-old sister, Helen, published a collection of original poems in a book, Envy Our Times. At the launch of his novel's new cover today, Eddie encouraged children his age to develop a writing habit.
Second book or your first?
This is my first book with its new cover, and it is for children of all ages.
For Eddie, it was his school adventure that inspired him to write his first book. As for Ellen, depending on the type of mood and situation she is in, her poem ideas are transferred into words when she is alone.
Found that writing through poems is more suiting for me to express things through rhyming of words and more with descriptive things.
Following their first publication, both children have decided to leave school this year and concentrate on training other young children to write their own books. Their decision is strongly supported by their parents, who are both former teachers turned writers.
The goal is to, by 10 years' time, we would have helped 1 million children authors to write books.
Mother Morive, who also published a book, Leopard Stingray of Miaru, is proud of her children's work and wants to see both develop their writing skills. Her book was translated into 5 other languages, including Milne, Gulf, and Enga.
It got me excited because, every now and then the sound of the language in his book was changing, and I would say, wow, this is great. It sounds really good.
The family aims to see children write their own stories. They said it's a way of helping children improve in public speaking and self-confidence. The books come with audio and can help children learn to read at home before enrolling at schools.
This is one of the biggest developments in the history of education and publishing industries in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The awarding of a contract for Phase 2 of the Integrated Government Information System, otherwise known as IGIS, has apparently bypassed proper tendering procedures. Secretary for the Department of Communication and Information, Polias Corney, says the Central Supply and Tenders Board failed miserably to consult the implementing government agency. Secretary Corney says the second phase of the IGIS project will be halted if this is not addressed.
Secretary Polias Corney alleged that the decision by CSTB on the 6th of February this year has not followed proper legal, financial and tender process. He says the contract signing between the State and Computing and Communication Institute of PNG or CCI PNG is flawed. Corney says the Integrated Government Information System is a nationwide rollout project and is a security matter in protecting government information.
Our country paid 145 million kina for the first phase. Is it worth that much? We have to be certain that this network was secure for everybody, especially government agencies, to ride on.
The IGIS project is a system that will connect government departments and agencies. First phase has been completed, which includes scoping, while the second phase includes a security layer on networking and cost almost 9 million kina.
If the tenders board is not satisfied, they don't make a decision there and then, because we are the implementing agents of a project. They should have sent it back to the TEC to review. But instead they made a decision to award the contract to the third bidder.
Secretary Connie is adamant to stop an invoice payment of 3.5 million kina by CCI PNG for the commencement of the second phase. However, in a phone interview with suspended Deputy Secretary Information Sapanga Apukwa, Mr. Apukwa says his advice to uphold the CSTB decision has not gone down well with Secretary Connie, resulting in his suspension.
Strongly believe that the CSTB is flawed. We cannot allow for systematic corruption to occur within government systems, connived by people with vested interest.
The Ombudsman Commission has acknowledged Secretary Connie's request for an investigation. Meanwhile, Communications Minister Jimmy Miring-Toro is still tangled with the decision since he was briefed through a text message with the decision by CSTB. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Well, the much-anticipated vote of no confidence never eventuated during Parliament session this afternoon. All eyes were on the opposition, but no attempts were made to move a motion. The opposition has confirmed having 22 members so far.
Parliament session started late than expected. Outside, the public were anticipating big moves. However, it was a low-key session with no major drama regarding the vote of no confidence. Opposition leader Don Pollier, having 22 members, showed no sign to oust the Prime Minister. His predecessor, Belden Nama, was seen taking a back seat in the opposition. Numbers on the government side looked firm. Most of the public interviewed expressed desire for a change of government, citing their own reasons.
Today is the right time that opposition can put the vote of no confidence over to the floor of Parliament.
Be like him changing this government, because this is like $3 billion US rule affect him, this like journalism beginning behind. So Prime Minister, I mean, wrong looks him to wrong. Now country go sink. So me like him changing government now.
Meanwhile, Northern Governor Gary Jufa has been asked by the leader of government business to relocate to the opposition side. Jufa says he is aware and will sought advice from the Speaker before moving.